Hey everyone, Ali Maz here. Today I'm going to guide you through a 75-minute yoga practice. So you've carved out the time in this space to really dig deep into your body. So this is really going to be about how you're feeling on a deeper level. So we're going to start seated, and you're going to cross one ankle over the other. And what you're going to do is just walk the fingertips just gently forward any amount. So if you're feeling the intensity through your hips, you can just stop right here. If you're tight like me in your hips, this is going to be enough for you. You can come down onto your forearms if you'd like, and then we're just going to drop the chin into the chest. So just a really gentle way of starting to tune in, but deep enough so that you're really starting to feel the resistance. And what I want you to do is just breathe into that resistance. And often the first few moments of your yoga practice, there's a transition that needs to happen. So I invite you to close your eyes, pinpoint the resistance in your body, and then I want you to press your breath into where you're feeling the kind of stickier, more stubborn aspects of the hips. And I want you just to ask yourself how you are. And I want you to wait a few breaths just to see what starts to come up for you. What's really going on beyond our surface answers or our surface scripts of good and fine. See if you can drop and surrender a little bit more through your shoulders and through your neck, and see how that correlates with the opening of your hips. And then just gently walking yourself back up, and we're just going to change. So taking the opposite ankle forward. So it's important that you're not crossing right at the shins, but you're right at ankle to ankle, sitting up nice and tall. You may find a difference between each side. And again, just walking yourself down, surrendering the upper body and the head. So just starting off nice and easy, nice and slow. Whatever it took for you to get onto your yoga mat. Knowing that the time and the space that you have carved out for yourself is a deep act of self-care and self-love. Drawing the breath in and out as a way of honoring your time and honoring your body. And I invite you to keep posing that same question. How are you really? What's really going on? Knowing that there doesn't need to be an answer. You're just being here to simply inquire. You can bring yourself up slowly. You're going to draw the legs together. We're going to come onto our hands and knees, and you can kind of shake out the legs a little bit. And we'll just find a little cat-cow here. I like my cat-cows to be quite fluid, so you can start with a few inhales and exhales that are quite linear. And then if it feels good to you, you can start kind of shifting around a little bit, taking the hips to press on diagonals to get the sides of the body warming up. But really just use this intuitively, moving your body in a way that feels best to you. And this articulation of the spine is really a way to wake ourselves up. So sort of moving, massaging the spine with breath, and really allowing ourselves to get more present into the here and now. And last, inhale and exhale to really take your time. Stretch that breath as far as you can. And then exhale, really digging navel to spine, releasing the breath all the way out. And then coming into your neutral spine, finding your way into your first downward facing dog. So spreading fingertips nice and wide, hands are shoulder width distance apart, walking your feet back and finding a gentle pedal just to open up the backs of the legs. So this is your first downward facing dog, so there's no need to overdo it. So just really being soft, keeping the knees bent, just kind of moving and being really fluid, really kind to yourself. And then we're going to walk the feet to the top of your mat. And if you can, try to keep the legs as straight as you can and little tiptoes all the way to the top. We're going to set the feet together so the big toes are touching. Soften the knees and drop the head. And a little yes and no in the head just to release the neck. And then as we inhale, we're going to draw the arms all the way up and over the head. And as we exhale, you're going to just clear the space around you, so you're just going to drop the hands beside you. And then the inhale, the hands are going to come to the heart center. And then as we exhale, you're going to lace the fingertips, lift the elbows, and push the palms down. And we're just going to move in this little flow, little opening breathing sequence. So the inhale takes your arms up and over your head, biceps back behind the ears. And then as we exhale, you're just going to press the palms down, breathing all the way out. And the inhale, the hands are going to collect into heart center. And then as we exhale, elbows up, palms press down, and just feel that grounding energy. So pushing palms down and then feet into the mat. And again, arms are going to lift up. You're going to breathe in. Pressing the arms back behind the ears, little arc in the spine, and then exhaling all the way out, really feeling energy between your fingertips. And then last one, hands to heart. And then exhale, pushing down. As we inhale, the arms are going to come up and over your head. And then we're going to forward fold, swan diving, and then the hands are going to lace behind the sacrum. And you're going to lift the knuckles up towards the ceiling. And again, using soft knees or soft elbows if you're feeling a tightness between the shoulders. If it's there for you, just start to lengthen. So physically opening up the pecs and the front of the shoulder girdles. Energetically, you're going to feel an opening in the center of the heart. Stay with it for a few more breaths. And then releasing the hands for your first vinyasa. So looking forward, inhale, and exhale, we release. You're going to place the hands and step back to your first high plank pose. This one, we're going to lower the knees, chest, and chin to the mat. And you're going to lower your pelvis, scoop the heart up, Cobra pose, high or low. As we exhale, you're going to press back to a child's pose, knees wide, forehead to the mat. From here, you're taking a full breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, breathe all the way out. On your inhale, come to hands and knees. And as you exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Gaze forward to your hand, step or hop to the top of your mat. Lengthen into flat back. And exhale, bow. Again, inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, clearing the space. Inhale, hands to heart. Exhale, push down. Inhale, arms up. Really warming up the shoulders. Exhale, fold and interlace. Stay here for a breath. And exhale, release the hands. Step back into high plank pose. Exhale, bend the elbows, keep the knees lifted. Inhale and tuck the toes, high or low cobra. Downward facing dog, exhale. Gaze forward to your hands, step or hop to the top of your mat. Lengthen into flat back. And exhale, bow. Last round like this, inhale, arms come up. Exhale, pressing the air down. Inhale, gathering energy to the heart. Exhale, lacing and pushing palms down to ground. Inhale, arms reaching up. Exhale, forward fold, lacing the fingertips. Stay for an inhale breath. Release as you exhale. Step back or hop back, high plank. This time, chaturanga, keep your body hovering. Lift through upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, pushing back, downward facing dog. Gaze forward to your hands. Step or hop, top of your mat, flat back, and exhale. Changing up the flow, arms sweep up. We're going to interlace the fingertips, release the index finger, and then you're going to sit right down. So this is Utkatasana chair pose. Weight is in the heels, creating some fire through your legs. And then as you inhale, you're going to root down and rise up. And then as we exhale, we're going to sit back down. I'm going to take 2 more like that. Inhale to lift, and exhale to sit. One more time. Inhale to lift, and exhale to sit. As we fold your forearms, you're going to tuck behind your calves, and you're going to gently draw chin into chest. Never be afraid to bend your knees, keeping your hips over your heels. Placing your hands, Vinyasa. So you can go through any Vinyasa that we've gone through already. So you can drop the knees, chin and chest. You can do a little baby Cobra. So keeping that flow quite simple. Or you can move through your chaturanga, upward facing dog. Now you're going to look forward. You're going to step right foot forward. Place the back heel down. Your left toes are in a 45-degree angle. And take your arms up for warrior one. So sitting deep into the hips, working your hips square towards the front. Take your gaze up. Take a breath in and breath out. Take a breath in and exhale, release. Vinyasa or skip it. Every movement has a breath. Downward facing dog, exhale. Look forward, left foot steps forward, plant the back heel down, warrior one, gaze goes up. So just thinking about pulling left hip back slightly, right hip forward. Take another breath in. And exhale, release. And again, optional Vinyasa you can cycle through. You can hang out in down dog. Or you can meet in child's pose. And then coming back to your warrior. Gaze goes forward, bend the knees, step or hop lightly, top of the mat. Flat back, inhale. And exhale, fold. So feet are still together, inhaling. So still building with the heat, lacing the fingertips, sitting low, chair pose, second set. This time we're going to go a little quicker. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then same thing, wrapping your hands behind your calves and then straightening your legs any amount, tipping chin into chest. Breath in and out. Breath in and out. Releasing your hands down, Vinyasa. And downward facing dog. So we're going to start to build onto the sequence. Right leg is going to reach up. Let's bend the knee and stack the hip. So just giving the right knee some lift, the left heel pressing into the mat. You're going to look forward. Warrior one. Second set, arms up. From here, you're going to just pivot your body, shift the feet slightly. So this is your goddess squat. It's like a second position plie in ballet. So heels are in, toes are out, arms are going out into a big cactus shape. So we're still in the heat building phase of our warm-up. I like to close my eyes here. Somehow makes it a little bit more tolerable. Sitting low, sending your tailbone down, pulling your belly button towards your spine. Nice and big and bold through your arms. Take a breath in And exhale, pulse down a little bit deeper. We're just here for one more breath. Inhale and exhale. Now we're going to turn the heels out, lace the hands behind the back, take a breath in, and we're going for a wide-legged forward fold. So the wider your feet are, the easier it's going to be for you to bend down, so you can keep kind of heel toeing to get that shape. If you're quite open in the backs of the legs like I am, it's better to go just a little bit narrower. You'll actually get a little bit more action going on in the hamstrings. So keeping the feet parallel. I like to shift just a little bit side to side in the hips. You've got open shoulders. See if you can clasp the palms together. Dropping the head for one more breath in. And breath all the way out. You're going to release the hands, looking up halfway, walking yourself back to the front of your mat, and cycling through your vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Take a breath and exhale. Sending left leg up now. Bending the knee, stacking the hip. And there's a tendency here for that right shoulder to really collapse. See if you can push it down evenly through both hands. Square off the shoulders, lift the left knee a little higher. And step forward to warrior one, back heel down, arms come up. And then back into your goddess, adjusting the feet. I'm gonna face you, heels in, toes out. Elbows nice and wide, closing your eyes. I like to find like the subtlest pulse here. So inhale, thinking about inner thighs, drawing in and out. And then exhale, sitting down a little bit deeper. And again, inhaling and exhaling. One more time, inhale and exhale. Straightening the legs, turning the heels out, lacing your hands behind your back. Take a breath in. And exhale, diving forward. So option to keep the hands up if you'd like. Otherwise, you can walk your fingertips in line with the toes, tucking chin in towards your chest, working the crown of the head down towards the mat. So wide-legged forward fold gives you the opportunity to really lengthen the backs of the legs. Also feels really good for tight low backs. Taking one more breath here. Then breathing all the way out. Looking forward into flat back. Walking back to the front of your mat. Step back to high plank pose. And cycle through. Downward facing dog, exhale. Gazing forward to your hand, step or hop to the top of your mat. Taking flat back inhale. And breathing it out, exhale. Now you're going to separate your feet as wide as your mat, heels and toes out. So a little bit of a deeper squat now. So this is your malasana. If you need to, you can take something just a little bit higher. So you could take a folded blanket underneath your heels if you needed just a little bit of a lift. From here, we're going to move. So we're not going to stay static. We're going to stay warming up through the quads and the hips. So hands are going to come to heart. Chest is nice and lifted. On your inhale, you're going to push down through your feet. You're going to rise all the way up. As we exhale, you're going to breathe out, and you're going to come all the way down. 2 more times. Inhale, thinking about the energy crawling up the legs, toning the thighs. Exhale, sending the tailbone down and sitting low at an even pace, bending the knees. 1 more time. Inhale to lift up. And exhale to release all the way back down. And then from here, facing you, I'm going to take a twist. So you're going to take your right hand, drop it off the mat. The shoulder and knee are going to connect. You're going to take the left arm up towards the ceiling, taking a twist here. So that right shoulder, just bracing the right knee back. And then releasing. Left fingertips coming down, left shoulder and knee connect, and right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. So thinking about your belly button in the center of your chest, turning upwards towards the ceiling. And then releasing hands down. Pressing your hips back up, taking forward fold. Inhale, we reach the arms high above the head. And it's that same arm flow. Exhale, pressing the hands away from you. Inhale, we bring the hands into heart. Exhale, we lace the fingertips and press down. Inhale, the arms come up. And exhale, lace the hands behind your back. So shoulders are nice and warm now, feeling a little bit more depth right here. And dropping the hands flat back. Exhale to fold. Vinyasa here if you'd like it. You can step or hop back. Lifting through the heart. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Right leg comes up, bend the knee, stack the hip once more. This time we're going to take this right leg and we're going to circle it. So it's going to come in towards the belly button. It's going to reach out to the side and around. So thinking about big stirs of the thigh bone in the socket. Try to keep your upper body nice and steady. One more time. Straightening your right leg, step the right foot forward, back heel comes down. Warrior two. So again, big wide stance here. Wrist creases, ankles line up. Right toes facing forward. We've done enough in the quads to really heat them up, so let's straighten the right leg. Bind triangle pose, so hips are gonna shift back. Right arm's gonna reach, reach, reach. Hand can come to your shin. If you have a block, that's great. The floor works too if you don't feel too much in the right hip. And then left arm is gonna reach up. So just breathing. If it bugs your neck, you can take the gaze downward. You want to feel this right side of your body wrapping up and towards the sky. If you're like me and you hyperextend a little bit, I tend to lock out the joints. See if you can find a little bit of softness through the right knee. And just connecting to your breath. And then we're going to release. We're going to take this into a sort of different release of this flow. So the hands are going to come down. This is your right leg that's forward. You're going to send it back up. Bend the knee, stack the hip. This is stage one. You stay right here. Stage two, you're going to flip the dog. If you're feeling a little adventurous, the right foot's going to come down onto the mat. So you can see both of my feet are parallel. My left hand stays where it is. And now I'm going to push the hips up and extend this right arm back behind me. So big heart opener. See if you can keep the hips nice and lifted. We're going to take a breath right here. And exhale. Right hand is going to come back. And we're going to come to our plank. We're going to lower. Lift through Cobra. And downward facing dog, just to pause and feel. We're going to find it on the left side now. Left leg goes up. Bend the knee and stack your hip. Watch that the right shoulder's not collapsing. And then circle it out. Knee in, open and around. Massaging that left thigh bone into the socket. Straightening left leg. Stepping forward, warrior two. And opening it up. Gaze going over your left hand. Creating the foundation for your legs, and then slowly straightening left leg and tipping it into your triangle pose, Trikonasana. So there was probably a reason why you stepped onto your yoga mat today. Sometimes we forget the reason when we get into the practice and it gets challenging and hard. Especially if you're at home watching this, there's probably something else you'd rather be doing. It's amazing how quickly we can distract ourselves from being with ourselves. So if you're kind of feeling that a little bit, I want you to really take a bigger breath, come back into your body, and recommit to yourself right here. Good. We're going to release. We're going to come back to dog. The left leg is going to lift up. Bend the knee and stack the hip. Step one, or option one. Option two. Toes spin to face the back of your mat. My right hand is still firmly planted. Hips go up. Take it into a nice back bend. Breathing here. And then slowly flip back over. Plank pose. To the floor. To your back bend. To child's pose. Exhale. All right, you can take your child's pose just simply here with your arms stretched out in front of you. If you want to continue that opening through your shoulders, which we've been really focusing on, walk your elbows further away from you. Take the hands together, tuck the toes, send the hips back, forehead to the mat, thumbs behind the back of your skull. The further away your elbows are from your knees, the deeper you're going to feel that stretch. So this would be a more active child's pose. Something that looks like this would be a lot more relaxing and restful. Remembering the purpose of this practice is just to feel without needing to label if it's good or bad or right or wrong. Just let yourself be in your body. With 2 more breaths. When you're ready, I'll meet you back in downward facing dog. And take your gaze forward. We're going to step or hop to the top of your mat. Big toes touch once again, flat back. Inhale. And exhale, breathe it out. Inhale, take your arms high above your head. Exhale, clearing the space. Inhale, hands to heart. And exhale, stay with hands at your heart. So from here, what you're going to do is you're going to rise up onto your tiptoes, and I'm just going to face you so you can see this. If you are at the top of your mat, I'd like you to step back so you have a little bit of room kind of hanging out at the front. You're going to rise up onto your tiptoes, and then you're going to come down all the way. So keeping your knees squeezing together, your ankles squeezing together. This is a little variation of toe stand. So you want to try to come up right onto the toes, spread the toes. Now, instead of the knees kind of hanging up at your chest, I want you to pull the knees away from your belly button so you've kind of got the thighs parallel to the floor. You're going to squeeze the inner thighs. You're going to take your hands to your heart. Option 2 is to close your eyes, which for some reason makes this way, way, way more challenging. You're going to feel the heat in the ankles, everything working together to kind of seal the inner legs to keep you still as possible. Cool. And then when you're ready, you're going to open your eyes, you're going to open your knees, and you're going to place your hands onto the mat. So we're going to play a little bit with crow pose here. This is one of the most basic arm balances that we have, which doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. It just means that it's one of the more less complicated ones, I guess you could say. So your big toes are going to touch, your knees are wide, you've got your hands planted firmly the same way you would as downward facing dog. You're going to bend your elbows, and you're going to draw your knees up into your armpits, and you're going to pop your hips up. So the thought is that the more we shift the weight forward, we can kind of free up the weight in the toes. So looking forward, hands are the base of the triangle, gaze is the top of the triangle, and then just play around with shifting forward, and maybe it's just one foot that's come off the floor, and maybe it's the other foot. You can point your toes, breathe, play, toe up, toe down, whatever you want to do, breathing, holding. And then to come out, big toes touch. Knees together, forward fold. And we'll just cycle through Vinyasa. Inhale and exhale. Wherever you are on your mat, find your way back to dog. Cycle through with your breath. Lifting your heart up. Pushing back, downward facing dog. All right, the right leg lifts up. Back into a flow, step forward. Warrior 2, moving a little quicker, open up. Good, back into your triangle, but this time we're gonna add a little balance with it. Fingertips down, gaze goes up. Now, your weight is in the right foot, you're gonna shift forward. You're gonna bend this right knee, right hand reaches 6 inches in front of your pinky toe. As many little hops as it takes, you're gonna shift the weight into the right foot, pick up your left leg. I wanna square hips and shoulders off to the left side of my mat. Left arm goes up towards the sky. And we breathe right here. Engaging the muscles of this back leg. Again, a block would be great here to make your arm a little longer, the floor a little closer. If I wanted to get really experimental, I could take my right hand off the floor and just kind of play. Left hand's gonna come down. I'm gonna bend the right knee, cycle through. Downward dog. Left side, left leg goes up. Step forward, exhale. Open it up, warrior two. Straighten this front leg, triangle pose. Gaze goes up to the top hand. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose, look down. Bend your left knee, shift it up. Kicking that right leg up, back, behind you. Right hip on top of left, right shoulder on top of left. Kick through that back heel. Maybe a little hand to heart action. Maybe not. Just play with it. And then dropping, foot goes down, cycle through Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Just breathe. Little check-in with yourself. How am I really? What is going on in my body, my head, my heart? Look forward to your hands. Sit all the way down and pick your legs up. So we're gonna do just a little bit of core, and it's just gonna support the next sort of peak pose that we're gonna work. So nothing too intense. Hands are gonna come underneath your hamstrings, and you're gonna lift your legs up. So this is just step one. Hands here, holding core nice and tight. Arms can reach forward, step two. Legs can straighten out, step three. It's a simple lowering. So just your lower back and your legs are straightening. Exhale, we're coming up. And again, it's inhale, belly drawing in, and exhale. 3 more, inhale. You could hold your legs to pull you up if you need to. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. The slower you go, the more intense. Exhale. Now all you're gonna do is cross out your ankles, and you're gonna bring yourself onto your hands and 2 knees. So I like that core exercise. There's only 5 of them that are really needed for me to feel really intense in my core. I'm also sweating, as you can see, and panting. So it only takes really 5. Slow, engaged, connected, and this is gonna help us in our next posture, which is Dolphin Pose. So you are going to take your elbows to the mat. You can measure this by grabbing a hold of your sort of lower biceps just to kind of feel where things are at for you. Keep your elbows there, plant your hands. From here, you're gonna tuck your toes and you're just gonna lift your hips straight up. So this is like downward facing dog in the legs. A lot of people struggle with this pose because shoulders are super tight, inflexible, not strong enough. There's so many elements to it. I also hate this pose, but it's good for me. I like to practice it. So I'm downward facing dog in my legs, my forearms are on the mat, my head is off the floor, and I'm just working hips up. If you want to deepen this and put more weight into your hands, you can walk the hands forward. If it's feeling too intense, come back. If none of this is of interest to you and you're still just like, I want to work my core, then you're going to come back here. And all we're doing is holding. Your knees can come down to the mat if you need. Let's take 3 more breaths. Whenever you feel like you've had enough, the knees are right here, and child's pose is right here. as you come right back to that place of rest. Again, here's your check-in point. How am I feeling? You haven't had an opportunity to get onto your mat recently. There's probably things that have just built up a little bit. It's natural, it's normal, it's human. So we come to the mat to just unthaw. Kind of let some of those things dissolve and melt away. I'm going to do a little bit of a fluid movement, something that we often can't do in class because mats are a little too close to each other. So I like to do this jam when I'm at home. So right hand is going to come beside you. Left toe is going to go out. So I've got hand, knee, toe, all in one line. Big opening here. You can kind of press hips forward and lean back. This is inhale. Exhale is going to bring you down. Inhale is going to take you to the other side. Exhale is going to take you down. Just keep moving with it. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Just chill again. If child's pose is intense for you, sometimes I don't always love my forehead on the floor like that. I just like to kind of sit up, palms open, let everything just settle. So when you're ready, we'll just transition back to your downward facing dog. Gazing forward, bending your knees, step or hop to the top of your mat. Lengthen into flat back. And exhale, bow. Inhaling, sweeping your arms high above your head. And you're going to keep your arms above your head again. Temple mudra, so lacing the fingertips, releasing just the index finger. I'm going to face you. We're going to find a standing balance. So the right knee is going to come up from here. You're going to slowly transition, kicking your right heel straight back behind you as the arms reach forward. So you can see from this angle, I am creating a capital letter T shape in the body. Now, if this is too intense for your lower back, we've worked the core enough, so hopefully you feel that support. But if not, it's a lot on the shoulders. Arms can reach straight back behind you, or they can come to heart center. So kicking back, reaching through the toes, trying to square the hips off so the face of the right thigh is looking at the floor. Taking one more breath in, and then slowly coming all the way up. And then releasing. I always need a good shake out of my standing leg. And then we'll try the other side. So arms are going to go up. Inhale, temple mudra. Then shift the weight over into the right foot. You're going to pick up your left knee. And then slowly you're going to kick back. Tipping the body forward, kicking your left leg back. And again, hands can come to heart or arms behind you. I often like to bend my supporting knee just slightly to square my hips back off. I've got quite a curved lower back, so I always need a little extra core action to keep things aligned. A lot of action through your back leg is going to create the buoyancy to keep you holding this position. Make sure the breath isn't being held. We're going to take one more, grow a little longer, a little taller, and then come all the way back up. Releasing with the same movement of arms. Inhale and exhale, release. Inhale, hands to heart. Pushing hands down. Inhale, arms come up. And exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, we're going to step the right heel about 3.5 feet behind the left. So you've got heel to heel alignment, and you've got the right toes on a 45-degree angle. So here you are. If you're tight through the hamstring, you can bend this knee. Blocks are really good here too, just to give you a bit more space. So stretching out the back of this left hamstring. This is called pyramid pose. Same thing, left hip back, right hip forward. Releasing, chin in towards the chest. Lengthening up from the tip of this left sit bone up towards the ceiling as you press down through the left big toe mound. So just picturing the breath digging into where you're feeling the stickiest, the most resistance. Physically, that's where you want to feel, just back of the leg. Mentally, you want to stay with your body, so when the mind starts to kind of jump out of the body, this is where we get injured, so just really staying connected to this hamstring, making sure that you're not overdoing it. Staying with yourself, not abandoning your body or the stretch, just being here and present with each inhale. Looking forward, inhale, and then we're just going to simply step the foot forward, exhale. Give it a little wiggle. Feel the space in the backs of the legs. And then we'll go other side. Looking forward, stepping your left heel back. Left toes are in a 45-degree angle. Squaring off the hips. I like to do a little flat back here, so inhaling, and then exhale, diving over the right leg. Staying with whatever you feel. Yoga works us with that healthy edge. So noticing, where is my edge between pushing too far or backing off? Every day is different, so it doesn't matter what you did yesterday in this position. Notice what's going on currently for you today. Right sitting bone tips up, planting all four corners of the feet into the floor. Taking one more full breath in, looking forward. Diving in a little bit deeper as you exhale. Wonderful. Step forward, inhale, flat back. Exhale. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, release the arms. Hands to heart. Pressing palms down. Reaching arms up. And we'll cycle through a full vinyasa. Exhale. Flat back, inhale. Exhale, bow. Step back to high plank. Chaturanga, exhale. Lift your heart up, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Right leg reaches up. Bend the knee, stack the hip. We're going to revisit those hip mandalas. So inhale, knee comes in, open and around. In, open and around. One more. And then we're going to slide the right shin forward for pigeon pose and walk the left leg back. So ideally, you have the right knee nestled behind the right wrist crease. Stay here if that works for you. If not, your other option is taking it from a seated position so that the right knee isn't taking that pressure. But if you're here, you want to think about right thigh bone, left thigh bone, pulling up into the pelvis. This will actually take the pressure off of the patella. So play with it. If it doesn't work for you, come to seated. You're going to come onto spidered fingertips, squaring off the pelvis, and take a breath in. And we can stay here for just a few breaths. This is going to open you up at the root of your right hip. And then to take it a little bit deeper. And this way your upper body can relax and you can actually focus on the hips a little bit more. Just take it down to your forearms. You can make a little pillow with your head or stack your fists, whatever feels good. So a lot of the times when we're not speaking up, we're not expressing how we truly feel, all of these sort of unprocessed feelings or unsaid feelings tend to just kind of shift, and they sit in the body like sediment in the bottom of a lake. And that's kind of what the hips are all about. The hips just kind of let everything fall, and they kind of collect, and they hold, and then we're sitting quite a bit, and things are just kind of hanging out a little stuck and a little stagnant. So when we get into a position like our pigeon pose, we're stirring up and hopefully breathing deeply is actually excavating some of this kind of gunk in the hips. So as we sit into this posture, we want to keep the breath really moving. We want to soften and relax into it, and we just want to feel that right hip gently opening with our breath. And then notice if you could just soften a little bit more anywhere. For me, it's often the jaw or the shoulders tend to tense up. When I can soften those guys, I feel that I can tap into my hips or the depth of this stretch a little bit more. And here's your last breath. So taking it in and releasing all the way out. And we're going to come up onto the hands, and we're going to just sit onto the right sit bone, and you're going to slide the left leg out in front of you. So this is still the right knee that was forward. That doesn't change. The left leg's going to come out in front of you. You're going to flex the toes, sit up nice and tall. As you inhale, arms are going to float up. Exhale, you're going to forward fold. So anywhere the hands land, knee, shin area, if you can grab your foot, that's great. And then just dropping chin in towards the chest. If you're a little more open here, you can walk the hands even further past the foot to really elongate the spine, and then just dropping over this left shin. So sit bones stay nice and grounded as the lower back just sort of lengthens forward and whole body drapes over left leg. One more breath here. Exhaling. On your inhale, just slowly coming up. You can cross the left ankle in front of the right. Before we move to the other side, I'd like to just give a moment just to find the stillness, just to connect inward. And then slowly transitioning by taking hands forward, rolling over, finding yourself back into downward facing dog, and just kind of shift around and feel the difference from side to side. Inhale, left leg reaches up, bending the knee and stacking the hip. 3 hip mandalas in, open, and around. Keeping the upper body as still as you can. And then sliding left shin forward. Pigeon pose, second side. Seeing that right leg is tracking right back behind you. You can stay up on spidered fingertips, chest nice and proud. One thing you don't want to do here is sit too much on the left side. You really want to keep the pelvis up. When you're ready, take it down onto your forearms, resting your upper body. If it's comfortable, closing your eyes. And posing that same question, how am I really? If you've really been on the go, chances are we haven't really had the time to inquire. Perhaps you've been taking care of everyone else and everything else. And often it's the case that we're looking for other people to sort of fill that. Yoga gives us the time to check in and to take care of ourselves. It is a beautiful reminder that you have everything that you need. And that you do not need to seek outside of yourself for what you're looking for. So these last few breaths, I want you just to dissolve into that a little bit more. Soften out shoulders and jaw. Let the root of that left hip just gently open. And stay with the mind's eye just looking inwardly. Asking yourself how you are from a really gentle and loving place. When you feel complete on this side, you're going to come up and you're going to sit onto your left sit bone and you're going to swing your right leg around. So sole of the left foot is into the right thigh, walking yourself forward any amount and folding over this right leg. Keeping this right foot active and flexed to get the stretch to the Achilles and the calf. Softening through the belly and really feeling this nice opening through your back body. Taking one more breath right here. And breathing all the way out. Walking your hands all the way back up. And you're going to cross this right ankle over the left. And again, it's just a gentle pause. And then extending your legs out and then just giving them a little bit of a shake. Before we come down to the floor, we'll take one more seated posture. So keeping the feet nice and active and flexed. Taking the arms up and over your head, and as you exhale, forward folding over the legs. So there's a couple ways to take this posture. You can stay quite active, grabbing a hold of your shins or your feet. If you have a strap, that's really good too. You just wrap your arms around the strap and then pull the feet sort of gently back towards you. I sometimes like to take this posture a little bit more passively, so palms facing up, dropping chin in towards the chest, and just really letting my head just fall. A lot of us are really, really tense or stuck through our middle spines, the thoracic spine, and I find that for me, just taking the head down allows a little bit more space. On your inhale breath, you're going to lift all the way up. And then as you exhale, scoot your bottom forward and then come to lie all the way down onto your back. Setting your feet flat onto the mat. Your knees are bent, your heels are quite close towards your sit bones, and your arms are just beside your body. We're going to push ourselves up into our first bridge pose in a moment. But in this moment, I want you to feel back of the head, back of the rib cage, back of your pelvis, those 3 points, really softening down into the mat. Soles of the feet nice and comfortable into the floor, belly is nice and soft. And then when you feel ready, pressing up into bridge. So elbows are going to push down like robot arms, and you're going to peel your hips up and off of the mat. Key thing here is to keep the inner edges of your feet rooting down. So you don't want the knees to splay open. You want to hug in and press up. From here, interlace your fingertips, propping the chest up nice and proud. And breathing here nice and deep. So rooting inner edges, keeping inner thighs hugging, pushing down to lift up. And then as we exhale, release your arms. Slide your shoulder blades out from underneath and take Supta Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet are going to come together. The knees are going to drop out wide. One palm onto your belly and one palm onto your chest. As you inhale, feeling the rise and the fall of your own breath, pressing up into the hands. And as you exhale, just feeling your whole body soften, the knees dropping a little bit closer to the floor. One more time, breath in. And slow breath all the way out. Second set, draw your knees back together. Place your feet, your arms come beside your body. As you're ready, press yourself up into bridge pose. And just walking your shoulders underneath you, interlacing your fingertips. And just taking a few deep breaths here. And there's a misconception about back bends that you have to be super flexible in your spine to access these, but a lot of it's coming from the power in your legs. So if you can really, you can see, activate through the toes, push down through all four corners of the feet. I'm toning my glutes and my legs, getting my hips up. Really good way to open and strengthen the spine. Take one more breath right here. As we exhale, releasing all the way down, coming back into your butterfly. If butterfly is too intense for your hips, just switch it up. Feet wide, knock the knees together, relaxing through your sacrum and softening through your belly. Now, if you are comfortable here, you're feeling like your back bending time is over, just release and relax right here. Otherwise, I'm going to offer you one more opportunity to back bend, and this is going to be a bigger back bend. This is your wheel pose, so I'm going to instruct you through your wheel pose now. So placing your feet, pressing down. So it's the same prep. Hips are up. You're going to take your hands beside your ears. Fingertips are facing your toes. You're going to press all the way up onto the crown of the head. I like to walk the hands back, plugging my shoulder blades into my back, pressing my chest forward, and then coming all the way up. So again, you're pressing down through your feet. You're using your legs, hugging the inner thighs towards the center, breathing into the heart, opening up the chest, staying as long as you'd like. When you're ready to come down, you bend the elbows and you tip the chin into the chest to keep the neck safe. And then you relax entirely. So a lot of us feel like the back bend is sort of the main event, but I really feel like the aftermath is where it's at. So just taking a moment to chill here, feeling that deep opening, and just relaxing and settling. And our back bending practice can be very cathartic. So often we explain our feelings as it feels like something's pressing on my chest, or I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. So the back bending practice physically can feel really amazing. Emotionally, it helps just gently crack open and sort of lift anything that's weighing you down. So just these moments after your back bend can feel really, really good just to clear that space. And then when you're ready, just gently drawing your knees back together, hugging your knees into your chest, and just giving yourself just a gentle rock from side to side. So massaging out the back, just giving the spine some time to recalibrate after your back bending. And then to release the back, you're going to drop the left heel down onto the mat. And you're going to take this right leg straight up towards the ceiling. Even if you have the flexibility or the ability to grab a hold somewhere higher, I want everyone to take the hands just sort of at the base of the thigh bone. So the head of the femur bone, top of the thigh, you're going to just press the thigh bone into your hand. So instead of pulling this leg towards your face, I want you to actually flex the foot and pull, or press rather, this leg away from your body. And this is going to set the head of your thigh bone, or your femur, into the back plane of the pelvis, which in turn is going to help release the front of the hip flexor and clear some space in your lower back. So try not to be too intense in the upper body. You're just flexing the foot, pressing this right leg away. You can see the quad is nice and toned. You may also see or feel a little bit of shake in the leg, which is totally normal. And then you're going to release, feeling this right side with a lot more space. And then we're going to try the left side. So the left knee is going to come in. You're going to gently extend the leg. Lace your fingertips behind this femur, flexing the foot, and then pressing the leg away. So you're actually rooting this thigh bone by pressing the leg into your hands, keeping the left foot active. And if your hamstrings are quite tight, you absolutely can bend this knee here. Same thing applies. Just bending the knee, pressing this thigh bone into your hand, and then breathing. And you're ready, releasing, giving your hips a little shake from side to side. And then you're going to pull your right knee into your chest. And then we'll take a twist. So you're going to open up the right arm to the right. You're going to pull this left knee, or the right knee rather, across your chest towards the left. Gaze will go towards the right hand. And you can bend this left knee either softly or take the knees together completely for a 2-knee twist. That's going to be a little bit less intense on the lower back. It could feel just a little gentler, a little easier. And you want to feel the breath moving equal parts through your belly and chest. Inhale as the inflation of the inner body brightening. And exhale is just softening that right shoulder blade heavier into the mat. Taking one more breath here. And exhale. To come back through the center, take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Engage the core, drawing the knees in. Just shift a little bit on the mat. Extend the right leg, left knee hugs in. Taking your twist to your other side. So last time, taking your gaze towards this left palm. Again, if you're feeling the lower back, feeling a little vulnerable, a little sensitive, you can slide this right knee to join the left knee. So this gentle twist, great for your liver, great for your digestive system, and just a little reset for the spine as well. And then coming back through the center, you're going to hug both knees into your chest, and you're going to take happy baby pose. So you're going to grab the outer edges of your feet, and you're going to draw your knees down towards the floor. You can think about pressing your sacrum, which is the triangular bone at the base of your lumbar spine, down into the mat. And then thinking about the knees driving down towards the floor. Taking your last few breaths right here. When you're ready to release, just lowering the feet. You can do a little windshield wiper from side to side. You can do this as long as what feels good for you, just to release the hips, release the tension through the pelvis, and then find yourself splayed out into Shavasana. So this can be however you want it to be, as wide as you can. You can grab a blanket, anything that's going to make you feel completely at ease and relaxed. So I'll invite you to stay lying down on the floor. Perhaps taking in a deep breath, as full as you possibly can. And then just taking that deep exhalation and just melting yourself into the mat. Feeling the weight of your bones heavy into the floor. Feeling the softness of your muscles as though they were just dangling from the bone. Everything is just releasing. There's no gripping, there's no tension. And then feeling your skin, all the pores in your skin, drinking this next breath in. So all sides of you, pulling that breath in. And then gently releasing that breath out. And then feeling into the pit of your belly, which often tends to hold some of the tension or stress or anxiety. So if you could feel or visualize this unraveling of knots. So things are just gently being combed out. So the belly is really soft. There's no holding of your core muscles at all. It's just really, really released through your belly. And then pull your awareness up into your heart space. So we worked a few positions throughout the practice that really created more room for your heart to breathe. So just tune into the sensations in the center of the chest, feeling the room in the body. I like to imagine my ribs as gills of a fish, just drinking this breath in from the sides and the back of the body. And then pulling your awareness up between your eyebrows and see if you can soften that space, or perhaps visualizing a white light between the brows, clearing out any mental tension, anything that's been on the mind, or replaying or hamster wheeling. And now connect with your entire body, your whole form. Feeling that the edges of your skin and the air around you, those lines have began to blur. And the energy in your body is actually much bigger than your physical form. Noticing how much space actually exists within you. You may have walked into this practice feeling a bit locked up, a bit condensed, tight, areas of your body that were sort of gripping and constricted. So notice how the breath and the movement and your intention of simply being in this moment have actually softened you. You are more than welcome to stay laying on your back for as long as you'd like. If it is time to move out of the practice, just start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Move your hands, your feet, your arms, your legs. And then come on up to sit. Spine is tall, shoulders are relaxed, eyes are closed. And then taking your hands in front of your heart, bowing your chin into your chest, and just silently finding a thank you, a gratitude for whatever it took to get yourself on your mat, to pay attention to what's truly going on inside of yourself, for weaving or sewing back together the body, the head, and the heart, and creating a deeper sense of alignment. And know that these practices or these principles are not just for you on your yoga mat, but really something for you to take in to your day-to-day life. And may you use this spaciousness and this deeper sense of presence to continue to elevate yourself and the people around you. To close, we'll take a deep breath in through your nose and a full exhalation all the way out. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening. Namaste.